Is Felger and Mazz your favorite afternoon show?
Yes, 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 yes.
Felger and Mazz.
Get your reaction to that. Now Barthy is in for Big Jim in our update studios. We'll do some football later on this hour as well. But as promised, to your phones. Matt in Braintree, what did we miss?
There's two that Mazz covered. One was Rick Asadorian. He was from Massachusetts. He got drafted by the Red Sox. And then Wilton Veras. He was like a third baseman. He was supposed to be the next Cal Ripken. Mazz used to write about in the Herald. I remember those articles.
Not sure I ever called him Cal Ripken, but I remembered Veras. They ended up trading him to Atlanta, I think.
Who was the first one he said?
Rick Asadorian. He was a first-round draft pick from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
You know, the Buck in his ilk.
Oh, my God.
Compared him to, you got the Tony C comparison.
I was just going to say, here we go with the Tony C thing.
Yep, the kid was a complete zero. With all due respect to the Asadorian, family in Western Massachusetts.
But he was from here, so we got all horned up about it, right?
Yeah, it was like Charlie Coyle.
Good grief. Oh, did you know he played youth hockey with Chris Wagner in Weymouth?
Yeah, Wags.
That really does it for me. That excites me. Joe in Weymouth. Speaking of which, Joe, he also played with Wags. Go ahead, Joe. What do you got?
Hey, guys, I got two for you. The first one, Eugene Chung from the Patriots.
Was he ever
offensive
hyped?
Lineman.
Was he ever hyped?
He was the 13th pick overall that year.
So I'm just saying there's plenty of guys. Listen, so do you have another one, Joe?
Yeah, Craig Hansen for the Red Sox.
Oh, good one.
That guy was hyped.
Hansen's a good one.
So just because you were drafted, so that's what I'm trying to say. Like N'Keal Harry, was he really hyped? The Bruins had an 8th overall pick named Zach Hamill, who complete bust, 0.0. But was he hyped? Like, you put Fabian Lysell on your list, right?
I did.
See, I think Fabian Lysell has gotten some hype. So it's not necessarily where you're drafted. It's, you could even be like Chad Jackson in the second round. Fabian Lysell at the end of the first. Pastrnak was this guy. These guys got hype. And Pasternak's lived up to it. Lysell hasn't. Eugene Chung, did he ever get hype? Or
no.
They drafted him up high and were like...
Was he a tackle or a guard?
Right. I think that. Like, exactly. I think he played both, but he had to have been drafted as a tackle. He was a high draft pick.
Yeah, right.
But he wasn't.
No, there wasn't a lot of hype with him. Like when do you remember a tackle they had, Pat Harlow? Do you remember him?
Yes.
Okay, so Harlow got some hype. When they drafted Harlow, there was some hype, and I think he was half decent for a little while, but then he sucked too, like most of them. So
you got to have had some hype to land on this list. How about Dexter in the car? Go ahead, Dexter.
Hey, boys. I think this is a player similar to Christian Campbell in terms of the Red Sox just dicking him all around the diamond. Blake Swihart, who's a converted catcher from a shortstop. They didn't like his defense early, and then they put him in left field and then shattered his ankle, and that was it.
Was he hyped?
There was a little bit of it. He was a first round pick, and he was a catcher. So there was some sort of like, oh, they might have the next guy. And, and it never got off the ground. I remember thinking like Swihart was going to be good, and they effed it up.
Dave and Dedham, who'd we miss?
Oh, Daniel Bard. We left Daniel Bard off the list.
Not bad.
He was okay for a little while.
He was, and how much hype? I mean, the hype came after he pitched well early.
Yeah.
Was he hyped going into the thing?
A little bit because of how hard he threw.
Yeah. I
mean, there was some of that. But early on in his career, Bard was okay. I mean, his second year in the big leagues, his 73 appearances had a 1.93 ERA.
He didn't really fall apart till they started dinking around with him between the rotation and the bullpen, right?
Bobby V completely porked that kid 6 ways to Sunday. Completely screwed him.
Mazz's tears. Players who didn't live up to the hype. Andrew in Manchester. Go ahead, Andrew.
Mazz, do you remember Casey Fossum? He was coming up, one of the failed Red Sox pitching prospects, and I think at the time they had a chance to get Bartolo Colon for him, who was a big deal at the time.
Casey Fossum.
He ended up going to Arizona for Schilling, so they did okay on that one. But, yeah, there was some hype around Fossum. He was a 7th-round pick. And, kind of a little guy who but he was never like the kind of prospect that, years ago, the Red Sox had a kid named Andy Yount, who was a first-round pick from Texas, big kid, right-handed, so immediately there were comparisons to Clemens. He then ripped his hand apart in like a weird accident and never developed. I didn't put injured guys on this list, But Fossum was never like Andy Young.
Anthony's in Easton. Yes, Anthony.
How about Brian Rose from the late 90s, early 2000s, who was supposed to be the guy to help Pedro bring him to the promised land? And I guess off of that, Izzy Alcantara, too?
So not Alcantara. He was more of an international, he's a bit of a wild card. Rose is a good one, though. It was Pavano and Rose. I mean, those guys got a crap ton of hype.
We've got Chris and Ashbraham. Chris, what did we miss?
Hi, guys. How about Jared Sullinger? I remember he led Ohio State to the Final Four that year and went off in the Final Four and didn't really play well when he...
Sorry, I recommended Sullinger to Mazz this morning.
Yes, and I forgot to put him on the list.
I had Sullinger and... It was Sullinger and I had another Celtic on there that I thought sort of...
was it AC Earl?
AC Earl. AC Earl. AC Earl was the other one that I had. Jared Sullinger and AC Earl. They were recognizable college players who sort of, I guess they went deep in the tournament, but I remember AC Earl, Iowa, and Sullinger, Syracuse?
No, he was Ohio State because Syracuse was Fab Mello. It was the same draft.
Ohio State, got it, right. But I remember the players, and I thought those guys had some hype. And boy, did they suck.
Oh, my God. AC Earl got the nickname Jurassic Earl.
AC Earl started his own fan club by himself. Yeah. He self-started it. You remember that? The AC Earl fan club?
Yes. He dropped like he was handing out cards or something, or flyers.
T-shirts and whatnot.
On the day he signed.
Yeah. Maybe it was self-hyped, but he was hyped.
That fan club didn't last very long.
Brendan in Haverhill. Yes, Brendan.
What about Rusney Castillo when we signed him as an international player?
Good one.
Good one.
And I mentioned him in the email and still left him off the list.
Chris and Marbo, who'd we miss?
I got three. I got first one, Tomo Okra, who everybody thought was going to be the next great Japanese player. I got old school Hartley Dykes, who we all thought was going to be the next great Michigan player. And I hate doing this, but Gordy Kluzak was overhyped. I'm sorry.
We kept injured guys off the list.
We left injured guys out. Hartley Dykes was, I think it was Oklahoma State. He was... he was really pumped up. He's another wide receiver they took in the first round.
Who else did he say? Which I disagree with.
I don't remember now.
Okay. Henry in Rhode Island just jumps on. What did we miss, Henry?
Hey, guys. Yohan Moncada, he was the number one prospect in 2016, I believe. I know he wasn't here long, but he was traded for Chris Sale, and he didn't end up doing anything.
Okay, was he here long enough not to live up to the hype? He didn't do anything in Chicago, right?
No, he might have made an All-Star game. Let me look that up. But he wasn't here long. He ended up being traded. They made the right move with him. He did not make an All-Star team, but he had a couple pretty good years.
Max in the truck. Who'd we miss?
Hey, what's up, guys? Cole Strange.
No.
Pick 29.
No. Never had any hype, Max.
The inverse of this.
What do you mean? He never had any hype. They drafted him and everyone laughed. They drafted him and you either went, what? Who the hell is that? Or if you knew what the hell you were talking about, like the Rams, you laughed in the Patriots' face. He never had any hype. This is what we're trying to say. Just because you got drafted in the first round doesn't necessarily mean you were hyped. When the Bruins drafted Jacob Zaboral, was there any hype with Jacob Zaboral?
Nope.
Or were most of you like, what the hell are we doing? So no, that Cole Strange is the exact opposite of that. Just because he was drafted in the first round does not mean he was hyped. It was, frankly, it was mocked. The pick was mocked from the second it was made.
The only reason I put the Bruins 2015 draft on there is because the draft was hyped. So they had 3 first-round picks, and everybody said, what are they going to do with these picks? They're going to trade up? It was, not often you get 3 first-round picks in the same draft.
And blow it that badly. It's like hard to do, and it was like one of the best drafts in NHL history. It was a historically good draft.
And it was a historically bad performance by them.
Is this Kevin or Bill and Warwick? Go ahead, Bill.
Hey, how about Lars Anderson? That guy, the amount of people we could have traded him for, but they held on to him forever, and then nothing.
Lars Anderson I put on the list.
Is a good one.
Yeah. First baseman, right?
Yeah, there were a few guys that came up in the Theo years that Theo and his minions pumped the crap out of, and none of them could play.
Mike in the car, what'd we miss?
He wasn't a prospect when he was drafted, but in Buckholz, like one of his first 3 starts, he threw a no-hitter, and everyone thought he was the next Roger Clemens.
Yeah, and he won a World Series. Did you expect him to be more? Okay, but that doesn't mean he didn't belong on the list because he actually did something.
Yeah, he wasn't a complete bust.
Rich is in West Roxbury. Who did we miss, Rich?
first-round pick Greg Blauser in the early 1990s off of Red Sox teams. I thought he was going to be a bomber, and he sucked.
I don't remember.
So there was a little bit of hype with Blauser. I remember
Blauser?
him. Yep. Blauser. Oh, no. That was Blauser was the shortstop of the Braves. Blosser. Blosser.
Uh-huh.
Greg Blosser.
Huh. Eric on the Hill, our French call screener, cannot keep up with the demand. Go ahead, Eric. What do you got?
That's okay. How about this? Late 80s, the Celtics go to BYU for 6'10" Michael Smith.
Out. You're banned for life.
Done. Ejected.
Let me, if you don't know the ground rules, if you call up with something that has just been mentioned, you are banned from life from the program. Banned. You can still listen. You just can't call.
Solitary confinement.
Out. Banned for life. I say this all the time. If you didn't listen to the segment, just don't call. Why do you have to call? You can listen. You can participate on your own. But if you didn't hear the segment and you didn't hear who was mentioned or not mentioned, then why do you have to have your voice heard? Just listen. Don't call. And if you call and mention someone who's already been mentioned, whether it's on the list or not, you are banned for life from the program. So, Ryan or Majori, I hope you wrote that fella's name down. He's out. Put him on the list.
Banned for life. And lucky for these guys, though, we have bad security. Because you can still sneak in.
Kevin in the car. Go ahead, Kevin.
Boston Bruins, Wes Walz. No nutrients in that guy.
Wes Walz.
You know what? I'd have to.
I remember the name. But was he hyped?
I think there was some hype with him now that the guy mentions.
Why? Wes Walz.
W-A-L-Z.
Yeah. When was he drafted?
Like Waltz without the T.
1989 says here he was MVP of the 1996 AHL All-Star game. So maybe some minor league All-Star.
Was he a first-round pick?
57th overall.
So second round, third round, maybe even at that time.
No,
out. Wes Walz does not make the tiers. Sorry, just short. All right. Once again, the response to Mazz's tiers through the roof. It's almost like we're giving something away. The response is just so overwhelming.
It's like a free bobblehead.
It's like we're giving away a free bag of popcorn, which again crashes the French call. All we have to give away is a little something, and it crashes the French call screener. That and Mazz's tiers. We continue with your suggestions. Get the latest in the world of football, which we haven't talked about in a couple days since Barthy's here, and we'll do it all after these words.
Now more of Felger and Mazz on the Sports Hub.
Elliot, when you look at the secondary, adding Kevin is such a huge get. But then I guess the biggest question is Christian Gonzalez and his status. Where do you guys see that contract right now?
There's no question about Christian's status. He's one of our best football players. He's under contract, so there's no secret that we'd like to keep Christian long term. So we'll continue to work on those things.
One of those things that's easy. Do you think in more mind to come together, you two sides, knowing the relationship between you guys?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about a negotiation. I don't think that would be fair to Christian or his agent. But again, we like Christian. We want him here.
Take a quick breather from Mazz's tiers to give you some football thoughts. We haven't hit on the Patriots or the NFL here in a couple days. So a couple things. Item number one. I'm going to tell you, without any inside information, without any sourcing, just using my prodigious instincts, Mazz,
okay,
and my power of perception and my experience covering the team in the league for about a decade as a beat guy and sitting in this chair, just using those things, where the Patriots contract negotiation stands with Christian Gonzalez.
Okay.
I just gave you the Patriots side. You heard what Elliot Wolf said in the middle of that answer? What was the key phrase in the middle of that answer, Alex? Let's see if you can.
I'd have to go back and hear it.
Let's give it to him again, Jim. This is a test for a young, not quite a beat guy. I don't know what they call you kids now anymore. I don't even know what you are. Are you a beat guy? Or are you a?
They call us beat reporters, but I think the job description has changed.
Right, you're like a
aggregator.
Well, but you do online.
Team enthusiasts.
You're definitely that. But he's not quite a beat writer. It's like this new hybrid role, Mazz, right? Where it's digital and some aggregation and some reporting, analysis. I don't know what you'd call it. But let me see how your instincts are. What's the key phrase in this Elliot Wolf answer?
Elliot, when you look at the secondary, adding Kevin is such a huge get. But then I guess the biggest question is Christian Gonzalez and his status. Where do you guys see that contract right now?
I mean, there's no question about Christian's status. He's one of our best football players. He's under contract, so there's no secret that we'd like to keep Christian long term. So we'll continue to work on those things.
Okay, so what's the key phrase in that answer?
He's under contract.
Very good, Alex. There it is. Where the Patriots are standing right now with Christian Gonzalez, you're under contract, my man. We don't have to do a damn thing. You're under contract. That's where the Patriots stand. Do you want to know where Christian Gonzalez stands?
Sure, yeah.
See the Celtics game last night?
Yeah.
In the middle of the game, they threw to the stands, and in the front row was Christian Gonzalez. And what does Christian Gonzalez do? You see that, Mazz? What did he do?
Looked like the money sign.
The universal sign for
cash.
Where's my money?
The old Johnny Manziel.
The old Johnny Manziel, exactly right.
He did the Johnny Manziel. That wasn't an interview. That wasn't anything. That was him just up on the Jumbotron. He gives the camera the money sign. So, where does this stand? Give me my money. The Patriots answer, you're under contract. This is where they're at, Alex. You can take that to the bank. No sourcing necessary.
By the way, do you think, did you see the story the other day that the NFL...
Meaning it's not going well. Go ahead.
This is a little bit of a tangent, but work with me because it's applicable. Did you see the story the other day that the NFL wants to go back in and do the TV deals with the
Oh, yeah.
Even though the deals have 4 more years on them?
I thought it was 3 or less, but either way.
Okay, so... when you think Robert Kraft accepted that answer from the TV partners and they said, well, we already have a contract? I'm just curious. I'm wondering, like if the television partners said, well, what are you talking about? We have a contract. You think the owners are satisfied with that?
I mean, listen, when Steph Diggs went to him this offseason and said, I have a contract, the Patriots were happy to honor that, right? Because they signed that. Oh, no, that's right. They cut him. Because they don't want to pay him the money on the... I got it. So the fact that he has a contract really means jack crap, does it now?
In that league.
So, anyway...
Well, the refs don't have a contract. They won't even talk to them, and they don't have the contract.
We'll get to that in a minute. Something tells me the Gonzalez thing isn't going all that great. He's under contract. Christian, how you doing? Little go Celtics. Yeah, show me the money. Where's my money? And that's where we are at with Christian Gonzalez. So we'll see where that ends up. That's item number 1. Item number 2, more importantly, Alex Barth has his fresh mock draft up on 98.5thesportshub.com. Do you not? Is this your second version?
I do, 2.0.
2.0, Barthy. Who do you have going 31 to the New England Patriots in the first round?
I have them taking a right tackle, Blake Miller. And this is in part reflective of the job I think they did in free agency. I kind of started using this term. This is a pipeline draft for the Patriots in that they have some positions that maybe you don't need a starter week 1, 2026, but you're going to need a starter, if not late this season, next season for sure, in replenishing the pipeline. We know how tough it is to find a tackle. I think getting the next guy in the building behind Morgan Moses is important. This is a bad tackle draft. You're not going to have a lot of chances to do it. If you get one, if a guy of Blake Miller's ability falls to them,
where's he from?
Like
What's his arm length? What's his arm length? Give me the whole story.
Clemson, just under 34 inches, good size.
Another guy under 34 inches? Isn't that the magic number?
No, 33.
Got it. Go ahead.
52.
I just want to yell at Barthy.
No, I had to think for a second. 34 and a quarter. I just pulled it up. Sorry. So over 34.
Go ahead.
52 career starts, polished player, experienced player. He's going to fall a little bit because although it is a weak tackle class, all the guys that are tackles are right tackles. So you're going to see some guys fall because teams value that less than the left side. And he's a guy that, to me, is a year 1 starter. He is a guy that if Morgan Moses, if he doesn't give you that, let's call it what it was, an improbable season he gave you last year for his age, I would feel comfortable stepping in, taking over. And if you get another great year from Morgan Moses, he's 35 years old. He's got no more guaranteed money on his deal after this year. You can move on from him, and you have your starting right tackle of the future, ideally.
Okay, who'd you have in version 1.0?
In 1.0, I had Akeem Mesidor, who was the edge rusher from Miami.
Why'd you switch?
I try to do different scenarios for each one and kind of explore different players.
So you automatically change it out just to change it up?
Yeah, it was tough the last couple of years with them picking top 5. That was not easy. But the whole thing with mock drafts for me is let's look at different scenarios, different outcomes, different ranges. But the reason I did tackle here an edge rusher in the first one, I did not think they were going to do enough in free agency to have the flexibility to make a pipeline pick at the top of the draft. I underestimated them. They did more in free agency than I thought. They have more flexibility with this draft to kind of go best player available than I thought they would. And compared to some of the edge rushers who might fall, I like Blake Miller. I like what he brings to the table.
He's got some big hair, right?
Yeah, he's got some hair going on.
6'7", 320.
He's a big dude.
Good size.
Yeah, but if he's that good, he'd be a left tackle.
Okay, so Mazz, he's out on your mock draft.
I'm just, I mean,
you know what?
I want offensive line help, but I'd prefer it be for a spot that they don't necessarily have right now.
We did this with Membu last year. The first question I always get when I say he's a right tackle, they say, well, if he's that good, why isn't he playing left? There's a common question. Some guys that's just maybe they had a really good left tackle where they went to high school, or the coaches think this one side of their body is stronger than the other, or whatever. Just some guys do that sometimes.
Item number 3, the NFL refs that you mentioned before. What's the latest? What are your thoughts?
So there was a report today that yesterday basically the NFL kind of just walked away from the negotiations with the officials, and ESPN had a little more on that this morning. And one of the quotes from it was that one of the non-starters for the officials was the league wants to improve the quality of the officiating. It just already seems
it's a lie. Don't buy it. But keep going.
Well, so to put a quote like that out there, right, for whoever it was on the inside that put that quote out there.
Where do you when you say the inside of where, Alex? I'm sorry to yell at you, but just think of this. Does it benefit with the refs side of it?
The league put that out there.
Put out themselves that we are refusing reviews. We're refusing. What did you just say? Like, how do I phrase this? I'm sorry.
One source said Wednesday that the NFLRA refused to engage on one of the league's priorities to improve officiating performance.
Okay, so
was the exact quote from ESPN.
That the refs do not want performance reviews.
Right.
You're saying the refs would release that information?
No, the league did.
So the league is telling reporters, well, these guys don't want performance reviews. And you just report it? It's a lie. It's a lie. I don't trust the owners. I don't believe the owners. These cheapskates, these guys, some of whom charge their players for a fruit cup in the afternoon, don't provide daycare, have rats running around their locker rooms, don't have hot water, etc., ashtrays in the plane, etc., etc., etc. These guys, why do you think it isn't coming together with the refs? Because the refs are refusing performance reviews? It's a lie.
No, obviously. But my bigger point was, for this early in the process, that feels a little especially kind of nasty and ridiculous. Like, this whole thing just seems like it's getting very ugly. And
why? Why do you think it's getting nasty and ugly?
Because they're far apart.
Because the owners are cheap.
The owners don't want to pay them. But
Alex, the owners are cheap.
If we have to do another season of replacement refs, even if it's 1 week, it's going to drive me up a wall. And I'm already getting annoyed by it. And the owners should be blamed for it.
Thank you. It's only one. You blame these refs because they're allegedly denying, they're walking away because they're being asked to have performance reviews? That is such a blatant lie and piece of crap. And for any reporter just to take that at face value is just you are so in the bag or so ignorant.
The one that bothered me more was their proposed rule change.
Yeah, this is the one that got me too. I'm sorry, Alex. Go.
That basically, I don't have the exact wording in front of me, but it's essentially, if there are replacement refs, the league has the power to overturn calls, just in the moment.
So why does this bother you? What's the?
Because what they want to have happen is that basically, if they put in the replacement refs, they want to be able to change calls from the booth without a challenge.
Right.
So what the NFL owners are effectively admitting is that the referees that we're using as replacement refs are not competent. We need to have a backup system in place because they suck. Seriously. So we want to be able to do it without a challenge, just someone up there watching them and reviewing them because we don't want to turn the game into a mockery. Well, you know what? If you don't want to turn the game into a mockery, pay your officials. How about that? There's a novel concept. Don't get to the point where all of a sudden you put your replacement scrubs on the field and you got to have someone looking over their shoulder. That is the most weaselly freaking thing I've ever seen. And I'm sorry, Alex, I don't mean to go on and on. But the other part of it is that I think it's it's not bargaining in good faith. One of the real rules in all these negotiations is that you bargain in good faith with the goal of making a deal, which is sort of a stoogey thing anyway to begin with. But you're in the middle of a labor agreement with them, and now you're trying to put in a backup plan because you want to freeze them out. That's not bargaining in good faith. It's a complete weasel dick move.
You've just described the NFL owners.
Oh, my gosh. I saw that, and I said, you've got to be kidding me.
That right there was teeing it up with Mazz. Brought to you by Bigelow Tea, official hot tea of the Boston Red Sox. Bigelow, grab a mug and tea proudly, one of the proud sponsors of the Baseball Hour, which continues and has returned here to 98.5 The Sports Hub for a record 17th year. I say record. I don't know what record you broke, but it's got to be a record. Doing an hour of baseball talk every day at 6 o'clock. For a fifth hour. Go.
You didn't miss a ton in the 2 days you weren't here, but that one went right up my ass. I saw that and I said, you've got to be kidding. What a weasel move.
These owners are such weasels and such cheapskates when it comes to the fringes of their game. You've seen it. You know it. So now you're going to you think it's going to fall apart because the refs aren't accepting performance reviews? It was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They already accept a form of them where in the playoffs it's like all-star crews. They get graded every week and they get reassigned based on their grades. So they have already accepted that level of performance review. They'll take a performance review if you pay them properly or give them benefits or treat them like actual employees. Versus just hired cattle, which is what you probably do because you're a bunch of cheapskates. That's what goes up my ass. And then the reporters who just run with it. Oh, well, they don't even want to be reviewed. They're reviewed now, idiot. How do you think why do you think they have different crews in the playoffs? Because they get graded during the regular season and reassigned accordingly. So it already goes on. This is such nonsense. That one goes up my ass. I also heard that, I've also heard some of the local guys say that they don't know what the delay is with Christian Gonzalez. That maybe it's his side that's delaying that. Maybe Christian Gonzalez is the one that's playing it coy, playing it slow. To which I would say, well, let's think about that again, using the same parameters. Where would that information come from? Would Christian Campbell's side say something like, "Nah, we're slow playing this"?
No, that came from the Patriots side.
We're in no rush. No, we're delaying this because we know the longer we wait, the better we're going to do. So do you think that makes Christian Campbell look good? Do you think Christian Gonzalez's camp would say that?
At risk of getting yelled at.
Or is that something the team would say when they're asked, well, how come you haven't signed this guy? Well, he's dragging his feet. We've put some good offers out there in front of him. He doesn't want to sign. Just think where that bit of information or rumor would come from and who it benefits. And who it benefits is probably where it's coming from. Yes, Alex?
Did Brissett getting yelled at? There is some incentive for Gonzalez to wait because if Witherspoon gets paid first, he's going to get more money.
Agreed.
That changes once we get into camp because now he's risking injury, and if he gets hurt, then the whole dynamic changes. So there is some incentive for him to wait now. But, yeah, if we're still hearing that in July, like once he gets on the field, he's going to want his new deal before he risks an injury.
Something tells me he wants his new deal because when they put him up on camera last night, he acted like Johnny Manziel. So just call me crazy if you really connect the dots on that one. And when the Patriots are asked, they say, well, he's under contract. So that one, again, not hard to figure out where they stand on that.
They're screwing around. There's no question they're screwing around.
Okay, there's a little football interlude for you. Back to your calls on everything after Barthy here. Get you updated.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is a 5.
Me sento un po' pacchiato perché Roma
Luke is in Vermont on the Celts and Jason Tatum. Go ahead, Luke. How you doing?
Good. I just think even if you have a minute restriction on Tatum, and Brown can still be the guy the majority of the game and can be the leading scorer and take more shots than Tatum. I just think at the end of the game, Brown's a little clunky and Tatum's a better passer and a little bit more smooth. And I I know you've said this before, Felger, but it seems like there's a rule in the NBA where it's like last 4 minutes, close game, has to be ISO. Why can't they just run an action? Why does that, like, you saw a play, there was a play in the game last night that led to a jump ball where they doubled Brown. He kicked it to Pritchard. Pritchard missed Tatum in the corner because Tatum's guys rose up on Pritchard. And you could see Tatum had had enough of standing in the corner. He was over it. And I don't even necessarily want Tatum to go ISO. I'd like to see him run some offense, but I just think late, close, it's got to be in Tatum's hands.
I disagree. I think, Luke, on average, you're going to get a better shot with Jaylen Brown with the ball versus Jason Tatum with the ball.
You're way more likely for a turnover, though. You're way more likely for a turnover with Brown than you are Tatum. It might be a bad shot, but a bad shot's better than no shot.
Fair. Okay. I hear you on that. Brown's handle is still
shaky.
Yep.
I mean, not as shaky, but shaky.
But if I can get Brown the ball, if not in the paint, inside the line, where he doesn't have to do much ball handling, I just think you're going to get a more quality look with Jaylen Brown than you are Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, you're just asking for a fall away, 1-footed, 24-footer.
I think Brown inside the top of the key is close to money. Like, again, you get him in there and he can take a 16-footer or get in the paint. He's either going to score or get fouled.
I think this is going to be a harder – it's going to be a transition for a lot of people. Tatum, most importantly. The Celtics organization, secondarily. But a lot of fans, I think they're wired for Tatum. He's the best player, and it's about the best player in the league, and you don't change best players, and you don't take the ball out of the best player's hands, and you won a championship, and Tatum was your best player. You didn't win those MVPs. Brown did, but it was still about Tatum. I think you're better off if it's about both of them, if not the other guy first, is what I think. And that's going to be hard to swallow, I think, for a lot of people.
I mean, right now, I'm not sure it's even debatable. I told you the one caveat I'll allow, because we saw it in the Minnesota game, when they start blitzing, and I say blitzing, when they start putting ball pressure on Brown, the ball turns over.
It does, which is why he shouldn't be handling the ball on the perimeter. That's why I said if you can get it to him inside the arc, I think that you're going to get a more consistent shot than you are with Jason Tatum futzing around out there.
Sure.
With his back to the basket dribbling from 25 feet. Mazz's tears. Players that failed to live up to the hype. Scotty on Cape Cod. Who'd we miss?
Mazz, how about Donnie Sadler?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
We heard a lot of Donnie Sadler in those days.
Yes, and he flamed out pretty fast.
Joe in Maine. Who'd we miss?
Tyler Sagan.
He didn't live up to the hype like you want a franchise player that led you to a cup, but he was pretty good, So, no, I would not put Sagan on that list.
He definitely wasn't a bust.
No. Bill in Saugus. Yes, Bill.
Hey, Mazz, I got one for you. Frankie Rodriguez.
Oh, good one. They traded him, but yeah, I don't think he ever pitched in the big leagues for the Red Sox. So he was in that Rick Aguilera trade back in the mid-'90s. But he was a two-way player. He was a hitter and pitcher, and he had to pick which one because back then there was no Ohtani. Rule.
Stephen Carver has a Red Sox thought. Go ahead, Steve.
Michael, do you have this game on in the studio?
We do.
Do you see how freaking big this score bug is with the ads all over the screen?
Just talking about it.
It is taking up a quarter of my screen.
We were just talking about it. Go ahead.
These cheap a-holes. And by the way, they put out a press release saying Nesson has updated its graphics for user experience. And I took the bait. I'm like, good, they needed some refreshing. No, they're just selling us more Rodenheiser ads, which is a good company. They sponsor your station. But anyways, maybe and they're having a bunch of technical issues that you probably won't hear with the audio and the camera angles. Maybe if they didn't staff other teams' broadcasts during spring training and they actually,
Or 13-year-old interns, child labor, yeah. So we can't hear it. I can't see the camera angles you're talking about, but that score bug is ridiculous. It's massive, but some of the key information is tiny. Like the
velocities.
The ad, they sell the ad at the bottom is huge. They have to have the logos on there, which are huge, the B and the C. But then they also have Boston and Cincinnati, Boss and Sin next to it. Like, we don't need both. Give us either the logos or the boss or the sin. Why do you need the logo and the city abbreviation?
It's very bright. It's not just big. It's very bright.
And then the key information, who's batting, the velocity of the pitch, the type, that's all tiny. You can barely see it from where we're sitting. The whole thing sucks.
Yeah, I don't like it either. It's too busy.
And big. Well, what if you hit a liner that would be right center? It's going to go right in the middle of the bug. You're not going to see it.
Rodenheiser's going to get some serious business.
They deserve it. The rest of it. And then the very top says 2026 opening day. Got it. Like, why do we need that in there?
Did you need to be told?
What's that going to say tomorrow?
Day 2. Second day.
Long commercial-free segment comes your way next. More of your phone calls. Bruins Celtics big wins last night. We'll reset some lead thoughts on that right after these words. I want to get to the gossip first.
Everything you said is right.
Felger and Mazz, the Sports Zone.
McAvoy to Pasternak again from the red line. Cuts into the middle, across the line, to the left circle. Zacha shot, scores! Pavel Zacha with the game winner in overtime. And the Bruins beat the Sabres 4-3.
And Tatum will dribble it into the front court, and how fitting that the ball's going to end up in his hands. Because Jason Tatum didn't play in the game 13 days ago when the Celtics narrowly avoided the upset of the Thunder. But tonight, falling behind by 13 early, they took OKC's best shot, and they are the ones left standing. The Thunder's 12-game winning streak comes to an end at TD Garden as the Celtics, in a season full of stirring wins, add another one to the list. The final score, Boston 119, OKC 109.
I think the Bruins season was kind of in the balance, especially with how they fell behind in the third period. They're playing an actual pretty good game last night. They rebound from a really bad night against Toronto the night before and are playing well against one of the best teams in the league. And they're up 2-1 in the third period with the power play. And Mason Lohrei, the young defenseman, again for the second straight night, plays like a total jackass with his back to the offensive zone and a loose puck in front of him, gets his pocket picked and gives up a breakaway goal. That makes it 2-2, and then idiotically compounds the problem by cross-checking the guy into the net, drawing a penalty that Buffalo then scores on. So in the span of 33 seconds, with you on a power play, you went from leading 2-1 with the man advantage on the road in a big spot to being down 3-2, and it looks like you're going to kick away one of the bigger games of the year. And it felt like, Mazz, a sort of gut punch sort of loss was brewing there where you don't know where it was going to go from there. Never mind the math of the playoffs. Well, you get a lucky bounce to tie the game. Puck bounds off the backboard. And I don't know how it came off that back stanchion, that backboard so hard. Maybe it hit like a stud behind, where the seam comes in.
Yeah.
And
it came out the other side.
And it just came out hard and hot and right to Casey Middlestat right at the top of the crease with a wide open net, and he put it in. So you got a lucky bounce. I still don't know where it came from to tie the game. And then there was the overtime goal, Pavel Zacha from David Pastrnak. And now there's 2 points, and you pull out a game you easily could have lost. And I just think you have a whole new lease on life after that one.
No, big. In fact, I would say the Bruins have done this a couple of times now, right? Because didn't they lose the game right before Detroit when they went into Detroit? Yeah.
Maybe it was they lost a couple overtime games right in a row. So Montreal and somewhere else.
Yeah. So and I got it wrong. They beat Winnipeg right before they played Detroit. But to me it felt like I thought for sure they were going to lose last night. I thought it was going to be a big, kick in the nuts to their playoff chances.
And the whole week, I thought they shouldn't have played Swayman the night before against Toronto, so they had to go back to Korpisalo last night, who was on his best day shaky, and against that team. In that spot, it's like, look out below, and they pulled it out. And now you look at it, Mazz, now you look at the standings and the math, and you say, they really, if they don't make the playoffs now, it's kind of a choke. I know it looks tight on the bottom of it. They're just, 2 points up and all of that, but that's not always the way to look at it because the other division, excuse me, I was just calling it up here real quick for you. You are in the 7th seed, if you will, the first wild card spot with 88 points. The Senators are in the 8th seed, the second wild card spot with 85. So they're 3 points behind you with a game in hand. But that's, again, That's just the 8 seed. The 9 seed is the Islanders with 85 points. Same games played. So they're 3 points behind you. You've played the same amount of games. However, in the other division where the Islanders are, Pittsburgh is sitting with 86 points and Columbus is sitting with 87. So if the Islanders get 2 points, they climb up into the top 3 in their division, and one of those other teams drop below you.
Got it.
So what I'm saying is, and it's a little complicated, but just the way the math works, you've got a couple different paths now. It's not just that last wild card and the Islanders. It's Columbus, Pittsburgh, okay, so there's 3 teams for 2 spots in that division. I'll stop talking now. All I'm saying is...
No, that makes sense, though, yeah.
And those teams will play each other, too.
Bingo. At this point, it's getting to the point where if they don't make it, something went really wrong. You failed. You gagged. Your goalie is playing at the top of the league right now. Swayman's playing tremendous. And the math is starting to turn in your favor. You pretty much have to make the playoffs. And those 2 points last night were huge. So, the takeaway for me is that Mason Lohrei has to get benched after what he's done the last 2 games. And I like Mason Lohrei, and I want them to hang on to Mason Lohrei, and I'm glad they hung on to him to this point. And I hope he's a part of their rotation down the stretch. I'm not burying the kid, but he needs a reset after those last 2 games.
I mean, really, 2 brutal mistakes that were similar in nature on the power play both times. Can't handle the puck. It gets behind him, and there's no urgency for him to go get the puck.
And then he cross-checks the guy into the net to take a penalty?
Absolutely brutal.
Take a seat. Okay. Take a breather and come back in a game. Celtics, different. They're going to be the 2 or the 3 seed, and they're going to go in.
Can I ask you one question about the Bruins before we move on?
You bet.
Does last night at all fortify any opinion that you may have that they can beat Buffalo?
I like Buffalo in that series. It's the same, meaning Buffalo would be heavily favored, and they should be. They're dangerous. They just got more guys than you do. And I don't like you in your own zone. I don't. There's too many shaky defensemen, whether it's Lohrei and McAvoy gave up a puck for the go-ahead goal on the power play, and I think Lindholm is a liability half the time. And Buffalo's got some guys that can move and are dangerous. I think Buffalo's the clear favorite in that series. And last night doesn't disabuse me of that. I think you got lucky, But it's hockey. You'd have the goaltending advantage. Buffalo hasn't won anything in decades, never mind even been in that spot.
How's their defense?
I think it's better than yours, but no great shakes. They're right. I think you're right to say that the strength there is
their forwards.
The forward group, all this Owen Power. Kevin just left me. He could tell me more about it. Is this Owen Power, this defenseman? He was like number 1 overall pick a couple years ago, wasn't he, Kevin?
Yes, he was the first overall pick.
Has he come into his own?
He's improved. He's definitely improved from the first couple of years were not great as a number 1 overall pick.
So, I mean, listen, I'll take my chance with Buffalo. They haven't won anything in forever. I'll always play that kind of team, but they're better. Make no mistake. The Celtics. That was a win they needed because I think things had started to slide in the wrong direction with Tatum and Brown. And not meaning like their relationship. I'm talking about the way the ball was going and the offense was going down the stretch in these games. It was being force-fed to Tatum, and that is not when the Celtics are at their best. Even when Tatum's 100%, that's not when you're at your best. And especially this year, when Brown's having the kind of year he is and Tatum isn't all the way back. It was kind of silly what I was seeing there against Minnesota and Memphis. And I think last night corrected itself, Mazz. And after a really slow start, they ground that one out. And the game finished the way that all these games should be finishing, where it's more Jaylen Brown than Jason Tatum. And Tatum, of course, is going to get his, and he's going to be a big part of it. But it sort of starts and ends with Jaylen Brown, and that's what I saw last night. And that, to me, made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, there was a huge change in terms of the pace that they play with and, who's bringing the ball up the floor. To me, it was apparent. Tatum wasn't dribbling ball up the floor, draining the shot clock. It was a much he plays better on the wing, I think, anyway. I thought that was the best offense they have played as a team in a long, long time. And you can say they've had other games years ago when they made a lot of threes. And look, they made their share of threes last night. At least they didn't take 50 of them. But I also thought they get into the paint. They got free throws. They scored near the rim. Tatum made a terrific pass to Keita, I thought, on a from the wing that is not an area you typically see him make passes from. To me, last night might have been the best offense I've seen him play under Missoula.
So they needed it because they had, I think, started to backslide a little bit, and they needed something to start stacking positively going forward, and that was it. And so that was the significance of the Celtics win, we think. So there's a reset of our Bruins and Celtics thoughts. You can weigh in on that. Mazz's Tears. With the inspiration being Christian Campbell, players who failed to live up to the hype. You can always call us on that, of course. And whatever you want, right back to your phones. 90 seconds, no commercials. First, here is an update with Alex Barth.